everyone, it's Sharana from Pay Or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Chi Season 3, Episode 6. Woo, 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 woo. It's really called woo, 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 but I wanted to say woo, 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 because we lost a real one today. Miss Ethel, okay? It only took us half of the season to get back to you, and then we just lost you at the end of the episode, so... You know what? I'm going to start with Miss Ethel. I'm going to start with Ronnie's storyline today because my heart I wasn't expecting that, y'all. I should have seen it coming. Anytime when they spend a long time on somebody's storyline who you're not used to getting a whole bunch of screen time, that's how you know that somebody is about to go. Okay. So Ronnie, okay, so we saw at the end of last week's episode that Ronnie had actually heard the screams of Keisha as she is breaking out of her kidnapper's home, and literally gave all of us heart attacks from yelling, panic attacks from just like, sis, you on the track team. How did you end up just falling into the ground so this man can come back and get you? So we find out that Ronnie ends up knocking on the door. So he's banging on the door, and then Ronnie ends up getting the guy to answer finally. And it's confirmed it was the guy that we saw at Perry's Pizza when he put money and donated to Keisha's Little Fund and told Kevin to keep his head up. We see that he begs the guy. He's like, hey, I thought I heard screams the other night. Like, I just moved in, this and that. I'm like, Ronnie, now, you know, you don't look like nobody that just moved into the neighborhood, yet alone owns a house, okay? Or a pot to piss in at this point in time. But the dude, he was like, hey, man, he was like, it's the people across the street. They be arguing all the time and this and that. And so essentially, Ronnie just is like, hey, you know what? I ain't got nowhere to stay. I said, duh, because you look like you ain't got nowhere to stay. So he ends up begging him to let him in to basically use the bathroom. Ronnie being all this little super detective looking through all the rooms and stuff like that as he's walking in. I'm like, okay, he's going to hear her. He's going to find her. Keisha starts screaming. He hears the screams, but then the dude starts turning up. Camille, who is Lena Waithe's character that's running from her, he ends up turning the TV up loud. So Ronnie has to question to himself, did he hear it? Did he not hear it? And so, you know, when he comes out, it looks like the dude is about to kill Ronnie or about to hit Ronnie over the head, so he gonna be kidnapped as well. But then Ronnie just says, I guess I was just hearing things. I was like, okay, Ronnie, that's good, play it cool. But say you just hear things, but come back with the police. But no, I think Ronnie really thought that he was just hearing things, and I was like, Ronnie, no, Ronnie, she was so close to being saved. But we see that he ends up going to, take Miss Ethel, his grandma. Miss Ethel was looking nice, y'all. That should have been the next, little giveaway that something was finna happen to my homie. So she looking all nice, got a little haircut, got her hair pressed out, curls up, edges laid, baby's out. Not the baby doll lashes that y'all used to these days, but she had them edges laid, okay? Had her nice little red dress on, had her lipstick and stuff she couldn't find at first. I said, Miss Ethel, okay, I know, you had a lot of hoes back in the day, did you, Miss Ethel? Tell me the truth, Miss Ethel. You had some hoes back in your, you probably had some now. We just don't know nothing about it. But he ends up taking her to the nightclub that she used to own. It was a jazz club that she used to own. But when they walked in, I saw this like little officer dancing. I said, y'all, I don't know who I'm saying y'all to because I'm literally by myself watching. But I was like, y'all, I think this is a strip club. Because the man dancing in a police uniform, and it's not making no sense to me. I don't understand. I'm not comprehending why he dancing right now. But I saw the little mic on stage, so I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm just wilding. Maybe it's the officer. He was off duty. He just wanted to get a little groove on real quick. But as we quickly are, they're like, Big Dick was it Big Dick or Black Dick? It was something. Come to the stage. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty positive that this is a strip club at this point in time. Miss Ethel started having a heart attack. Ronnie having a heart attack. And then all of a sudden, the dude started dancing, bumping and grinding up on Miss Ethel. She was like, come on, go ahead then. I said, okay, Miss Ethel. Girl, I know that's what you wanted in the first place. Ronnie started giving his grandma ones. How about don't spend it all in one place? I was like, okay, look at you supporting your grandma, getting her a nice little lap dance. Okay, I love to see it. I surely do. But we see, what I thought was the most beautiful scene is kind of after everything closed down, Miss Ethel was kind of telling them stories from back when she owned the nightclub, how it was like a jazz club, how people were so happy just to be Black. And to be celebrated being Black, to celebrate not being a part of the South, not being a part of always being persecuted or brought down because of the color of your skin. And so I thought it was so nice watching her kind of talk to this new generation of Black men and women and really telling them about how it was back in the day. I really love this scene. And so we see her, you know, Ronnie's getting his grandma settled in. She's talking about how she almost let Coltrane smash. I said, okay, see, I knew you had some hoes back in the day, boo. And then I knew as soon as he went to go get that blanket, that my homie was she was gonna be a goner. So you know what? I'm gonna take a pause real quick in the middle of this in the middle of our recap of the episode, and you know what we got to do for our fallen homies, like our homies, because Miss Ethel was a homie, because I don't, who else gonna tell somebody in a tender moment that your mama and your daddy want ish? Who gonna tell us but Miss Ethel? So I don't know where I'm gonna get my shade or anything else from, but you know Miss Ethel like her dark liquor, so we're gonna go ahead and just have a moment of silence for Miss Ethel. You know I gotta use a straw because you trying to mess with this lipstick, so let's just have a moment of silence, okay? Okay, we couldn't pour nothing out, y'all, because we don't waste no liquor up in here, okay? Ain't nobody trying to make no liquor runs anytime soon. Okay, now that that's out of the way and my chest is burning a little bit, woo! Talk about putting some hair on your chest. All right, so let's go into, we're going to end on Keisha and Kevin, so I'm going to go talk about Otis. Ooh, Otis' mama is raggedy as all can be. All right, so we see that Otis and Rose are kind of watching this news thing where essentially Otis's mother is endorsing Camille over him. And basically, she was talking smack, talking about he ain't ish, ain't gonna never be ish. And then when Rose is like, that be, and I was like, girl, I was feeling it, but that's his mama. You can't really be saying that. And even he had to tell her, like, hey, now watch your mouth. That's my mama. But he told her, like, do not engage. We're gonna like let this move past this. I'm not going to address this, nothing of the sort. So, of course, Rose was not listening. So she ended up meeting with his little raggedy mama, just as raggedy as she can be, okay? Talking about, I called that D word myself. I was like, oh my goodness, okay. So she basically said she called Camille herself in order to endorse her so her son would not win. And so basically, Rose ends up paying her $20,000, gives her an NDA, tell her you need to keep your mouth shut going forward, okay, boo-boo, you got your money, now keep your mouth shut, okay, until we go ahead and win this mayoral election. So, as that's happening, then she started talking smack about him again, but then she realizes that Otis was right there the whole time. So Rose looking shook because he told her, mind your business. Then mama looking shook because she was talking all the smack in the world talking about him. And then he was like, love you too, mama. And then he basically said, now get the F out. I was like, oh, ooh. I really want to know the backstory on Doodah and his mother's relationship. You can tell that it's a lot there. You can tell that it's something that bothers him. And it would bother anyone if their mother would literally root for you to fail or tell you that you're not worth it. But we're seeing this reoccurring theme with Doodah, with Otis, is that what fuels him is the many people who did not believe in him, who did not want to see him succeed and never thought that he can achieve what he wanted to. But we see because of all of this that has transpired, it puts a new strain on Rose in his relationship because he makes the comment like, just when I was about to trust you. So I think Rose knows she didn't messed up for real this time. But I like the little spin that he put on that. He had called the little news cameras over. It's like, you know what? My mother has suffered from mental health since I was a child. But I'm happy that Camille was being petty. He didn't say being petty, but he was just being petty himself, but she was being petty too. And basically saying that, you know, we need to talk about mental health, which is something that we do need to talk about, especially within the Black community. But I like how he put the twist on it. And then he got a little dirty plan of recording that kind of follows up to the 2 episodes ago where we see where Camille is purposely going to low-income churches because they have nothing else to believe in but to vote for her. And I was like, wow, Otis, so you gonna get your hands dirty as well? Okay, I can't wait to see the gloves come off for the both of them. But I'm interested to see how that is going to play out, because that is such another huge topic that we don't talk about as much. The effect of the Black church during races. elections rather, and how people really prey upon those who are low income, they're going through it, can't afford to put food on the table, can barely make ends meet, and how these politicians prey upon those people, especially Black people as well. And so I really hope that they delve a little bit deeper into that as we get to know more about Camille, and get to really see them go back and forth like in this election. I kind of want to see them both come face to face with one another in a debate or whatever it may be. I think that would be pretty entertaining to watch. So I guess I have to talk about Papa. Papa's having some relationship problems, you guys, okay? So Papa and Maisha, we saw that they kind of like, they decided it was going to be boo things and they was going to do this thing for real, for real. However, Maisha doesn't want the public to know about their relationship because she was just like, once everybody else knows it, everybody start talking and it goes downhill from there. And I was like, Maisha, while I agree with you, I feel like there's a deeper issue that you're not telling us right now. And so as her, because it's Kevin's birthday and they're running some errands because Dre and Papa kind of planned a surprise birthday party for Kevin. He has the task of going to get the cake. He's trying to hold Maisha's hand. She keep letting his hand go, and it's really like bothering him. And basically, he kind of checks her about it, like, "Hey, like I want everybody to know, like figure it out." But why they do Kevin cake like that? Why they spell, who would think to spell Kevin that way? I'm just trying to understand. Then as how raggedy as they tried to wipe his name off and change it, that has actually happened to me. So I know that pettiness does exist. It's alive and well in today's society. But when they dropped the cake because she finally held his hand, I was just like, Papa, as much as I love this like young Black love right here, why you mess my man Jacob? I was just really confused about that. But I thought it was super cute. I also thought it was super cute when Papa gave Kevin that engraved Bible. Like, yo, Papa be looking out for his friends. I want a friend like Papa because he really be looking out for them. But we have to talk about, we got to talk about Emmett. So Emmett Tiffany takes Emmett to pick up like her, because you know she a weed dealer, whatever I don't know what the heck she call it, but she takes him to this swanky kush shop, and we find out that Hannibal actually opened up his business. Remember when him and Brandon was kind of talking in the first season about like what they wanted to do, the businesses that they wanted to start, and it was so nice to see that Hannibal actually started his business. I was like, you go ahead, Hannibal. But Emmett was causing some problems. He was touching stuff he wasn't supposed to be touching. Then gonna talk about ask the manager for a discount. She be selling all of this and that. Sir, while I appreciate you ride or die for your girl, this is time and place for everything to do. And she told your little raggedy behind before they walked into the store, don't be up to your usual mess. And that's what he was up to, his usual mess. But the only thing that worked out was that Hannibal actually ended up being the owner of the shop, recognized them, and so then he ends up cutting Tiffany an even better deal of a better strain of kush. So I'm excited to see what comes for this. But Tiffany basically said, like, she told him that he needed to chill just going forward. Like, it's not okay. She can take care of herself. But they end up going to this little tarot card lady's place. She talked about, I ain't got no money to pay. I would be like, okay, girl, well, you know what? You just let me know when you got the money and I'll be back, okay? Mine. But she just feeling all bad, all gullible. This is how you be letting the Emmett raggedy behind just drag your behind. But she ends up reading her cards for her. Then gonna have the nerve to say that this costs extra. Ma'am, how? How much are you charging for tarot card readings? I'm just trying to find out. But she ends up telling Tiffany that Emmett is no good for her. Duh. We all knew that. And then basically that she's never going to be able to give him enough to satisfy his little hungry pain. Okay. So he was just like, girl, don't believe that. I love you, girl. I'm not cheating on you, girl. You're not cheating on her yet, but that don't mean that you. Then he was like, I ain't gonna never cheat on you. I'm like, but haven't you cheated? I was like, can somebody run the timeline back to me when he said I never gonna cheat on you? I thought you did cheat on her. I was a little confused by that, Emmett. But they end up just going to the party, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if Dominique's gonna come back. Was Lala just here for like an episode or two and that's it? Because Sonny shut everything down. Is Emmett gonna go find another job or just keep getting on Tiffany's nerves? I have no idea, but I cannot wait to find out. But I like this foreshadowing that we have with the tarot cards, and also to the foreshadowing of Corey Harding's character, who was on the show a couple of episodes ago. I feel like he's gonna come back into play as well. So I just can't wait to see how all of this falls apart. But we see that, you know, Jake was kind of freaked out from Doodah beating the dude to death or whatever, to a pulp, whatever he did to the young man who was talking smack about him not being mayor. We see that he meets up with Trig again. Trig asks him, where is the $50K that Reggie stashed away? He tells him that Reggie helped Reggie stash away $50,000. Jake was like, Reggie ain't got no money. He was broke as heck. Ain't no $50,000. He lied to you. But you know what? Trig introduced something new to me. He might actually like Gemma because, Trig was like, why do you dislike her so much? You must like her. That's usually what it means. And I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even think of that. Man, please don't. My heart couldn't take it if they fell out over Gemma. I cannot deal with it. But him and Jake they're going to play basketball, and then they kind of get into this discussion where he's telling him stuff that Reggie had told him about Trig, but he tells him why did you leave? And he was like, I felt I wasn't a man. And he was like, but so you left to go figure out how to be a man while you left both of your brothers here without no man. And then he was just like, well, are you mad? He was like, no, we good. He was like, well, you got your fist balled up. He was like, so hit me. And he did hit him. I was like, Tree he had to walk away. You know, I gotta walk away. It's kind of like when your kid or your niece or something, one of the little babies, when they hit you real hard and you have to think for a moment, you you're a child and you didn't mean to do that, but it really hurt. So I'm going to take a moment and take a step back, okay? Before I don't want to have to hurt you, okay? All right. We are covered by the blood of Jesus. He ends up telling them hey, we're good, we good. And so basically he can tell that somebody's been following them. Is one of Doodah's men. They go to find to one of these little safe houses. He's up finding the money. Then they hear someone, which happens to be Doodah's guy. He ends up hitting the dude, and then Jake is telling him to chill. And then Trey basically says to Jake, you do realize that Doodah is responsible for the death of Reggie. He was like, nah, man. He was like, you ain't that dumb. Think about it. And so he tells him that, hey, you need to make a choice because I'm not about to spend this money, $50K, on a lawyer if you don't really want to come and stay with me. So you need to make a decision. It's going to be Doodah or it's going to be me. But we don't really necessarily know what that decision is because they never really cut back to them at all. So we have no idea what is going on. But it is Kevin's birthday, you guys. Nina's having a hard time even trying to wrap Kevin's present because she's just still so consumed with Keisha being gone. And then Dre, being the perfect wife, tells her that her and Papa already planned a surprise birthday party. That is okay. They got everything planned for, which I thought was absolutely adorable. But we see that, unfortunately, Keisha is still trapped because she broke out. He has her handcuffed now. She's drawing a birthday card for Kevin, and she kind of goes back to the last time where they had, she always takes him to this diner to have breakfast on his birthday. She made this really cute photo album with them that she found at their dad's house. And it makes me think, has a year transpired? How much time has, passed since she got kidnapped it can't be a whole year because obviously she took him out for her birthday. But if she said she was leaving soon, I'm just really confused as to how all of this time is adding up. But I'm just going, I guess at this point I have to let it go because we ain't going to get no answers for season 2. And I guess we're not going to get no answers for this. But she ends up... He starts coming sniffing her hair. He wasn't even brushing her hair right. I was like, you supposed to brush from the bottom up. You gonna put knots and everything into her head. And then she's crying, and that's when we hear the banging at the door. The whole thing with Ronnie and his raggedy behind heard her, but didn't come back to try to... that just frustrated me so much. But he wasn't happy about her screaming. Tells her the story about this girl that he was in love with in school that reminds him of her. Talking about how the girl was cute and he wanted to date her, but she didn't. And she ended up turning out to be sleeping with all the dudes, gained weight and on welfare, all this stuff. And then he ends up cutting off Keisha's hair. And so then we see that he's trying to feed her because he's like, you need to get your strength. And I'm like, can you just leave her alone? Because I feel like it's been enough. It's been a lot, okay? Y'all only had 10 minutes of screen time this whole episode, but it was too much for me. And she asks him for a favor. She touches him, and I know it just took everything in her, the fiber and being in her body to even touch this man. And basically, she asks to call Kevin on his birthday. Of course, she can't talk to him. She can only hear his voice, and he gets his call from this block number before he walks into his surprise birthday party. And it was so heartbreaking that literally the only thing she wants to do is just to hear her brother's voice, to know he's okay on his birthday. oh, that was just so much. But yeah, I mean, I really hope they find Keisha. Can we find Keisha in the next episode or two? Like, can we please not have let Ronnie forgotten about this? Maybe he'll get more consumed about it because, like, his Miss Ethel said that he was going to find her. Maybe this will, like, give him even more energy to find Keisha, to go back to that little raggedy dude's house and figure out that she's actually there. I don't know what is going to happen. But Kevin has some, like, issues with Gemma this episode. So Kevin goes skating, him and Gemma go skating, and she invites her friends, her little white friends over, and they're like, hey, what's her about your sister? Like, but he had overheard them talking about it. And so he was kind of just like, well, why do they know about my business when you are the only person that knew about it? Because everybody else I know knows not to say anything. And I find the conversation, I understand why Kevin is upset and why he gets mad. Gemma ends up taking him to the diner that his sister normally takes him to. But when she bought him the iPad, I was like, are you trying to buy his forgiveness? And then this is when she confesses to him that she, like, told them, but they had overheard her talking to her mother about it. And she was like, I wish you would just talk about it. But I'm like, Gemma, that's not your place to make him talk about something that is so scary for him. Like, people will talk when it's time for them to talk, but it's not just because you feel as though that you would handle the situation that way. It doesn't mean that it's okay for you to try to pressure him into talking. So I don't approve of Kevin raising his voice with her in a public place, because I do not believe in making scenes in public places. But I do understand why he was upset. So they might be on the rocks for a little bit, but I don't know. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I like how I'm still sad about Miss Ethel, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm really sad about her. But overall, I do like the episode. The things are speeding up a little bit. Let's see, we're gonna have a confrontation between Camille and Duda, or Camille and Otis, Duda and Trig. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, I enjoyed this episode. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. What did you think of tonight's episode? But those are my thoughts on The Chi Season 3, Episode 6. Woo, 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 woo. It's really woo, woo, woo. But as always, my name is Sharona from Para Waits, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again,